Good evening, everyone. My name is Carlia Swanson, and I'm Miss Fort Lauderdale. And I'm just super excited to kick off my artist series for my platform, Music is Unity. And what other way to kick it off than with my wonderful teen, Miss Fort Lauderdale's outstanding teen, Maddie Flowers. Everyone give it up for Maddie. Hi, Maddie.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm really good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm glad that you're here.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So, Maddie, the holidays just passed. So, what did you do for Christmas? What did you get? Do you have any special holiday traditions?
So usually all of our family comes down and we were supposed to go on a trip this Christmas, but it did get canceled because of Corona. So we just had a small Christmas this year, just me, my parents, my brother. We opened presents, we hung out, we played Christmasopoly and watched some movies.
Oh, wow, that sounds really fun. So now we just had New Year's pass. So do you write down your goals? Do you have New Year's resolutions?
This is actually the first year in a long time that I have not made a New Year's resolution because I'm kind of like I actually completed last year's for the first time ever. I actually like followed through with a New Year's resolution. And so I've kind of just been like keeping on that track because my New Year's resolution last year was to get healthier and start going to the gym and eating better just because I knew like I wanted to feel my body better. And I've kept up with that pretty well. I got a gym membership. I go a couple times a week. And so this year, my goal was just to continue on with that and see how far I can go with it.
Oh, wow, that's really great, Manny. New Year's resolutions are really hard, so I try to stay away from like I'm gonna go to the gym or I'm gonna do this more, I'm gonna do that more. So I just this year I will be more consistent. I like to give myself like general goals. So Maddie, so we're in a very difficult time right now with the pandemic and education. So what has been some of those challenges for you in those things?
Well, at my school right now, I live in South Florida, and so it isn't required for everybody to go back, which has been really hard trying to decide what's going to be best for me for the rest of the school year because we can make our final decision whether we want to finish out school online this year or in person, and it's due Wednesday. And so I did go back to school for a little while at the beginning of this year, and it just wasn't right for me. And now I'm kind of contemplating whether I should go back now and try it because a lot more kids are going back or if I should stick to what's working and stay online. And it's been really hard for me to try and learn online while keeping up with everything else and still staying social.
So how was it going back to school? Like what were the new protocols? What was different about it?
Absolutely everything. It is the craziest thing to think that, like, not that this is our new normal, but this is our new here and now. Because I hope that we are going to go back to normal how schools were last year. But there was almost nobody at my school. I go to a school of 3,000 kids, a little over that actually. So my school is huge, and that's from grades 9 to 12. And so of those 3,000 kids, only I think 500 or 600 went back out of all four grades. And so there was nobody in class. And not only that, we had to sit very far apart from each other. We had to wear masks all day. They had stickers all over the school, like in the seats in the cafeteria. They had stickers separating you so you could stay 6 feet. They have like hazard tape on the ground showing you because at my school, like we have a pretty big school, and so the hallways are only one way. Like so the right side you can only go this way, and then left you can only go that way. And then there's certain stairwells you can only go up and down. So it's just like a lot of adjustment. Like once I got used to it, it wasn't that big of a deal. But it was definitely like a shell shock walking into school and seeing stickers and tape everywhere with people in masks. And we also have to carry computers all day. So it's just like a lot of change this year.
That's definitely a big difference. So I know that you're very involved in school. So how have your extracurriculars changed?
I wouldn't say they've changed, but they've kind of shifted. So we want to make sure everybody's safe and comfortable. So a lot of stuff this year has been optional. I had an SGA event today and we did a cook off. It was just a team bonding event. And we got split into small groups of 5 and we went to someone's house, made sure we wore masks the whole time. And we all just kind of cooked and hung out. It was optional. So anybody that wasn't comfortable could either be in a group by themselves so they weren't surrounded by other people, or they had the option just not to do it at all and there was nothing held against them. But it was super fun, and we had a great time seeing everybody and just getting back, like, social. And then I also cheer, and so for my cheer right now, our football season at my school hasn't happened yet because they just wanna keep everybody safe, and right now they don't have a good way to do that while still playing a contact sport like football. So, right now I'm doing basketball season for cheer, which has been fun. We sit on these bleachers and we all sit super far apart, so it sounds louder in the whole auditorium, so that's good. And then also, I'm trying out for the track team and the flag football team soon, and with that, it's also just like limited exposure, making sure everybody's wearing masks the whole time, and that the tryouts have been pushed back a little bit so there's more time for people to get comfortable and for the numbers to go back down before we do those tryouts.
Well, Maddie, you still sound very busy. So you have mentioned the social aspect of school. So being in the pandemic and not being able to be close to your friends, how do you think your relationships have changed?
I mean, it's good because we have so much technology right now. So I have Snapchat and Instagram and text messages. And so I do hang out with my friends fairly often, but I'm not having, groups of friends over at a time anymore. It's usually individual if I hang out with people. And I'm not seeing my friends as often because I used to see them every single day at school. And even when I was in person, none of my friends went back in person because of family concerns or just because they didn't know if they wanted to wear a mask all day because that's a big that's a big thing is nobody wants to wear a mask all day because it is not comfortable. And so I feel like relationships have shifted, but I've gotten a lot closer with some people just because I'm not in school right now, so I have a lot more time to devote to texting back and talking to them and starting conversations and hanging out with them and a lot more one-on-one time with my family too. So I think it's been a good change as far as relationships go.
I definitely agree. I think in this pandemic, I really realized the importance of friendships and reaching out to other people and checking on them and really using Zoom to my advantage. So Zoom parties, getting the games going on Zoom. Yeah, it's been really important. So, Maddie, you are a great dancer.
Thank you.
So, can you tell us what do you think the role of the arts is in the pandemic? So
For
I'll go.
me, okay, Olivia.
I think a lot of people have looked. I think people don't really realize how much they're influenced by the arts. When you turn on Netflix, those are actors who have went to school and trained for that. When you turned on the radio, those are singers and performers and musicians, and how much really goes into that. So I think the arts has really been a sense of solace for a lot of people during this time because that's where we're spending our time inside, either watching TV, listening to music, reading books, all being influenced by art. What
No,
do
I
you
think
think?
you're completely right. I think you're completely right on that. Like, I listen to music so much more now, and, like, sometimes it's easy to forget that, like, that is a form of art, and that is, like, an escape for a lot of people. And, like, for me, I dance, and that's a big, like, mental escape for me. It's just something I really love to do. And so at the gym I go to, they have this little kind of like a dance studio. It's not really meant for that. I think it's a karate room, but it works. And so every time I go, like, I'll go and work on my talent for Miss Florida, and I'll go and just improv. And it's just one of those, it's good cardio too. And it's just one of those things that like just really makes me happy and is a nice release for me.
Well, that's great, Maddie. So you have to tell this funny story about this keyboard class your mom signed you up for. Speaking of the arts.
Oh my gosh. So when I was going into sixth grade, I didn't know what electives to pick. So I didn't really know what I was interested in, and I wasn't sure. Like it was all a lot of shell shock, a whole new school, six classes, changing classes every 20 minutes, like a bunch of people I don't know. So my mom was helping me pick electives one night, and we were sitting there like looking over the list of electives, and there was keyboarding, and there was two keyboarding listed, and she was like, "Oh, Madison, like this is a great skill for you. You're gonna learn a lot. Like it's typing. You'll use this in your everyday life. It's one of those practical classes." And I'm like, okay, sure. Like, she's never done me wrong before. I'll take it. And then I go into the first day of school and I walk into this music room and they got all these pianos there. And I'm like, hey, I think I'm in the wrong class. I'm supposed to be in a typing class. She looks at my schedule. She goes, no. She goes, there's two types of keyboarding. There's piano and there's typing. She goes, you picked piano. And I was like, oh. So I spent the next 6 months learning piano. And I have to say, I got very good grades in that class, but it was not for me. It was not my calling. I don't have the patience for that. Props to anybody who does, but I did not continue to pursue that. But it was a short-lived piano moment that I had there.
Oh wow, great. So you said you got good grades in that class. What's the C
I
major
did.
scale? Quick. What's the C major scale? What's the C major scale?
Yeah, that was
I'm
like 3 years ago.
well,
I, I couldn't
okay,
tell you.
it's fine. Me either. Okay, so
Well, that's a
so
little concerning, Carlia.
I know. Okay, I'm joking. Okay, so the last thing, March 8th was the day we competed for our titles, Miss Fort Lauderdale. We had an
Best day
appearance the
ever.
very next day. Then slowly after that, everything shut down. So can you explain
Mhm.
those moments pre-pandemic as the world was slowly figuring out what was going on?
Well, the funniest thing for me is like I remember like the last week before COVID. So we had our pageant March 8th, and then before this title, before I was Miss Fort Lauderdale's Outstanding Teen, I was Miss Florida Everglades Outstanding Teen. And so that's the Miss South Florida preliminary. And so the weekend after we won our titles, I was like giving up my crown to the next girl. And so I had pageant stuff both weeks. And that next weekend, I spent all the weekend in Homestead, just, giving my final speech and doing my last walk and like spending that time with the girls that I'd spent the year before with. And so I remember because we went to this pageant and a lot of girls dropped out last minute because they were scared of COVID. And I had actually taken that Friday off of school, my last day of school ever. I took that day off of school because I was just really like mentally exhausted. I needed a little bit of time off. We've been crazy. Biggest regret right there. I should not have skipped school, guys. Dude, don't skip school just for
That's
funsies.
okay, Maddie.
So my parents let me stay home. I missed it.
Oh well.
And so that Thursday before that weekend, I remember in my history class, like we were watching that CNN 10 and she showed us some video on coronavirus. We were all like, "Oh, cool, another disease, like it's whatever." And I remember thinking nothing of it and just knowing it was in China and that was all I'd heard of. And then we went to that pageant that weekend and gave up my title. It was super fun. And then the next day, my mom got super sick, like was completely like on her butt for 2 weeks, could not move, like super, super sick. And I mean, we all think she had corona, but it was too early to get tested because at that time you could only get tested if you'd been out of the country. And so, like, I know a couple people that came to watch me give up my title also got really, really sick. So I just remember, like, being at home, like, those 2 weeks while everything was slowly closing down. And we would sit and watch the news, and they were like, "Oh, this is closed. There's a stay-at-home order in place. Like, you can't go here anymore. Restaurants are closed. You can only go to Walmart. Stay home." And I was just like, "What the heck? Like, this is so weird. Like, I thought we just had 2 weeks off, and then they just kept canceling it." And I mean, now here we are, like almost a year later. Just I cannot believe it.
Yeah, so you've been personally affected by the coronavirus. Tell me about that. How has that experience been making it through that?
Well, my family has, I think all of them caught COVID. Except, I mean, I probably did, but I didn't have any symptoms, so I was lucky. But my mom got really, really sick the day after that pageant. And I remember my aunt was sick at the pageant, like not bad sick, like, had a cold and was like, "Oh, it's a cold. Like, I want to come watch her give up her title." And so we all kind of blame her. We think she gave it to us, but, no hard feelings. And
Yeah,
then my brother, wait, what?
I mean, good.
Oh, I thought you said something. Sorry. So my brother goes to Florida Gulf Coast. He's 21, and they're a bunch of not very smart college kids. So they kept partying, kept doing what they did, and don't really wear masks there. I don't know why Florida Gulf Coast, like up in that area, just isn't big on the masks. So he's actually caught COVID twice. He had it the first time in I think June or July, and then caught it again in August, which is funny because they said that you can't catch it twice within 3 months, but him and his entire frat house all caught it twice. So it's been interesting. Luckily, none of my family has been really, really sick or like knocked off their feet from it. It's just kind of been like tired and colds and stuff like that. But I really do feel bad because I know a lot of people had lost in their family and had dramatic effects on their lives because of COVID.
That's very true, Maddie. I'm glad that your family is okay. And listen, everyone, wear your mask. Let that be an example. So,
Yes.
Maddie, being in quarantine, we've had a lot of time to spend with our families, with ourselves. What is something that you learned about yourself during this time?
So I've always been a person that loves to be busy all the time. I want to be doing stuff. I want to go, go, go. Like, I throw myself into everything I can just because I like to be busy and I love trying new things. And so I always enjoyed time alone because I didn't get it very often because I enjoyed being with people and going out and doing. And so I wasn't amazing at being alone. Like, I wasn't one of those people who could sit home for a couple days and be fine. Like, after a day or two, I was like, nope, I'm done. Someone make plans with me. I need to go practice. I need to do something. And so I feel like over this quarantine, I've gotten a lot better at like being with myself and like getting more comfortable like with my own presence and not having to be with people all the time or having to be doing something at all times, which I think is a very valuable lesson that I wouldn't have learned unless it was forced on me, that you don't always have to be going to be happy.
That's very true. I think at the beginning of the quarantine, I realized how much stuff we just kind of let go because school gets in the way or our jobs get in the way. So I think one of the beneficial things for me was, so I set my drum set back up, something I hadn't played through high school. I had like quality time to read books and just get back into some of the things that I thought were behind me or childish, but it was really because I haven't had sufficient time to do them. So, Maddie, what are some creative ways you've been keeping sane throughout this? Creative, quick, quick.
Hmm. I've done a lot of coloring. I've done a lot of coloring. So that's something I didn't used to enjoy that I've kind of gotten back into. Like I said, I love going to the gym. Thankfully it's open again. And then I also I really like running. I don't know if that's a creative thing, but I like to run a lot and listen to music, and that is like my favorite part of the day.
So you won't believe what I've gotten into since we've been in quarantine. I got a Nintendo Switch and I've been playing like Just Dance in the living room and like racing games. It's something else. So, so getting back
I
into some
love that so much.
things. So, being in this pandemic, we talked about how relationships are very important. So, who have been some key people in your community to help you through this?
Well, my parents, of course, have always been there and they've done their best to, keep me happy and like as long as I'm doing stuff safely, like give me the freedom to still live my life and still, participate in stuff instead of, keeping me home as long as I'm going about it safely. And then I've met a lot of new friends over this break, which is not something I expected because, you're not in the normal places to meet people like school and activities. But I've met a lot of friends. Honestly, I couldn't even tell you how we became friends, but I've met a lot of new people who've really, kept me sane and given me something to look forward to during this quarantine.
That's very true. Parents, let me tell you about
Yeah.
my mom. So at the beginning, when I was having school at home, I'm a music student, so we have performance-based classes. So I would be in class, and then she'd be like, "Okay, Carly, it's your turn," and I would do something, and I feel like, and then my mom would say, "You did a good job in class today," and I would think for a minute, and I was like, "You know what, Mom? I sure did." And I like what you said about meeting other people online because even like famous celebrities, famous musicians, they're all at home and they're doing like these master classes, these Zoom calls. So I'm having access to people that normally I wouldn't get to speak with. So that's been
Hmm.
amazing. So Maddie, tell me, tell me a little bit about your platform and what you've been able to do with that during this pandemic.
Yes, I'd love to. So, my platform is pancreatic cancer awareness and the importance of early detection. And I've seen this quarantine as a chance to really expand upon my platform and find new creative ways to go about promoting it because I want people to hear about it. And it's not, pancreatic cancer hasn't gone away because of coronavirus. Actually, we've lost more people this year, more influential people than we have in the past. Like Alex Trebek, he died of pancreatic cancer. Ruth Bader Ginsburg died of pancreatic cancer. And I feel like it's horrible that we lost those people this year and we've all been saddened to see them go. But I think that they really gave us the platform that we need to amplify our message and help people understand that this is not something that's going away and we need to act on it now. So, over this quarantine, I have written a book. It's called The Purple Monster, and it's a children's book. And it basically explains pancreatic cancer to kids. And we are so close to getting it published right now. We've been working super hard at it and my mom's helped me a lot with it and helped me to go through the writing and make sure that it all makes sense and is coherent. And then I've also started a YouTube interview series where I've interviewed a lot of the big influential people in the pancreatic cancer awareness community who are doing stuff to help raise awareness and raise money to change those people who are working against pancreatic cancer's lives. And then I've also been doing a lot of other work on YouTube on that platform, just trying to inform people and get more information out there.
Well, Maddie, that is amazing. So I know what you're doing now. I know about your platform. So tell me a little bit about you.
Okay, so I'm 15 years old. I'm a sophomore in high school. I started competing in MAO teen, I'd say 2.5 years ago now because of COVID. This is my second title. I'm super excited. We get to compete for Miss Florida in June, and I can't wait to see Carly again when she comes home so we can make some appearances. Um, I have been dancing
This is
since
an
I was
appearance,
4. Okay, fine. I've been dancing since I was 4. I love to read and write. And what else? Oh, I play flag football and cheer at my school. I'm also in the SGA and student council in my school. And I just love to get involved and help other people.
That's amazing, Maddie. So now we're gonna end it with some fun things. So, favorite song?
Okay. My favorite song right now is Pierre. It's really good song. I can't remember who it's by, but it's super good.
Okay, I gotta check that one out. Favorite movie?
It's so good. My favorite movie right now is The Kissing Booth 2. I've watched it like 6 times this week.
Oh wow,
It's becoming a problem. It's so good.
there may be a problem, but one of my favorite movies right now is called Love. Oh my gosh, it's on Amazon Prime. The soundtrack is jazz, like the one of the main characters in the movie. He's like a tenor saxophone player, and it's a love story. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Okay, so favorite activity.
Go to the gym.
Wow.
It's a lifestyle. It's all I do. It's my favorite thing ever.
I see. Favorite book.
I just finished Lord of the Flies and I really enjoyed it.
That's great. And lastly, what is your favorite food?
Ooh, acai bowls. I've been making them so much. They're delicious and they're generally good for you. They're not amazing, but they're not bad for you and they're so good. I could eat like 12 a day.
Tasty and nutritious. Great.
Yeah.
So before we leave, Maddie, do you have anything you want the people to know about you or about anything or a nice message?
I just want to say thank you for watching and thank you so much Carly, for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for being here, Maddie. Virtual audience, go ahead and give it up for Maddie Flowers. Thank you for, thanks, Mom. Thank you for tuning into the Artist Series. We'll be back next week with Dr. Darden Purcell. Again, thank you, Maddie, so much.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.